This is us incorporating leather and Ankara. So like what we're trying to go is from using just leather. This is velvet. You can call it a brand of leather as well. This is us trying to go from just using leather for the linings of our bags to using them outside the bags and making full bags that are just leather. This is the slippers. So it's made leather, the sole, and Ankara. So you can see this is a very nice combination.
She inherited the creative gene from her mother, but she thought nothing of it until she went abroad to further her education.
As a student who was intending to study social work, and I was an international student, they wouldn't let me go on the course if I didn't have voluntary experience and social work based experience in the UK. So I had this center I used to go in twice a week to volunteer an old people's home. This guy used to come in, a craftsman that did all sorts of crafts by hand and crochet work with the women with the residents, and I would help him, and we would stitch up bags with needles. We'll make throw pillows, we'd do all sorts of craft things, brooches and stuff. And he told me, Amaka, you're quite talented, you can actually do this. That was my first introduction into it. I wasn't bothered about it then because that wasn't what I came to do. I came to study social work, and that was what I was looking forward to. My mom is very creative. She did all the crocheting. She made pins, she made cards, she made necklaces and bangles and all that. It was something I wanted to do, so I put an interest, and that was how I came up to it. I knew that obviously if I can cut different parts of fabrics and obviously formed materials, I could form a bag out of it. So that was actually my first introduction to bag making by hand. I'm a lover of bags, and actually probably my sojourn outside the country was the introduction to the world or the business I find myself in today.
Upon returning to Nigeria, an experience motivated her to explore the business potential in a craft that was adopted for social work during her school days.
I was in a job that suddenly went south. We were all retrenched and I didn't have anything doing. So I had to think back to my introduction to bag making, and I just thought, well, using our fabrics, I was actually training to be like a fashion designer when I wasn't going to work, and I was like, using like fabric, I could make bags, African bags, bags with African fabrics that people could actually use, and every time you're going out you can take a piece of our culture with you. With the revolution over the last few years of people using Ankara to do various things, I thought it was going to be good, and I did a few designs with my little machine I had then, took it out for an exhibition, and people actually liked it, and so I started getting orders. That was how we began.
Today, Nneamaka Nwosisib is the CEO of Magnesia Collections, a brand that metamorphosed into a business in 2011.
Magnesia Collection is a brand that specializes in making bags, shoes, accessories, and souvenirs with a variety of print fabrics. Ankara, leather, lace. We work with silk, we work with organza, we work with chiffon, denim, that's like the corduroy jeans fabrics, and we actually hand make and produce them here in Abuja in Nigeria. We started sometime in June of 2011. That was the first time I actually had bags actually from my sketches actually produced to form and to what people could buy. The first fair we had was in July of 2011. Yeah, it was a bit nibbly in and out, trying to get ourselves into the market and show people what we had it. But really, we started selling in volume by September of 2011, and since then it's been going on. The name Magnesia, obviously my name is Nneamaka, and Amaka for short. Amak is from Amaka, and then Nisi is from Nwosisib. Nwosisib is my surname, so I took the first N and the last few letters and added a Y, and here bettered Magnesia. So Magnesia is still Nneamaka Nwosisib actually.
How did you start out in this business, for the benefit of people who might be watching and are thinking of how to actually start?
I made a good number of sketches. I sketched about 20 different designs of bags, and the idea was to find a manufacturer who can produce them for me. I pay him and I sell and deal with the business side of it. So I got introduced to this guy. He was a shoemaker. Obviously, they're the ones that know the intricacies of opening and losing things and putting them back together. And I went to him and told him what I was after. He made the first 5 or 6 bags I took to an exhibition, minus the 2 I had made myself, but he made it well. The structure was fine, and the idea was for him to continue making them for me while I sell. But you know how it is. He disappointed me after the first fair and exhibition I went for. People placed orders for bags, and I went back for him to produce the next set, and he wouldn't produce it. It was more like an epiphany. I was like, what am I going to do? I looked at what he's doing. I've been going there every day for like the past month. I had seen what he was doing. I didn't think it was hard. So from that day, I said to him, okay, give me the side, let me go and do this at home. He said I couldn't do it. I said, no problem, just give it to me. I'll go and do it. I went back home and I was able to finish it. And then what I did was, all the other days I went there, I just kept looking at what he was doing. That was all I needed to do. Just sit down there, look at what he was doing, asked him questions. And that was how I started learning to make the bags. He finished the order I gave him eventually. I took it. And that day I carried my bags. I collected all the materials, raw materials I needed. I bought some off him. I came home, sat down in my front porch the next morning, and started the process of making the bags. And we never gone back to anybody to help us do anything. It is amazing what you can do when you put your will to it, really.
She is a typical example of the fact that every passion could be a budding business venture.
I like bags. My husband will ask me, how many bags do you have? Or my sisters will ask me, how many bags can a woman have? I'm that person that wants to have a bag in every color and shape, because I feel a bag is an accessory that every woman should have. So when I knew that it was something I could turn into like a passion, and I could turn it into like a business, it flowed, and it could show that I loved bags. When I started, they didn't understand it, and obviously having to leave my career or not pursue my career further and go for this, they saw the passion I had for it, and all they did was stand by me.
How would you say the growth process has been over time?
We started from making clutch bags to making big tote bags. Now there's really no kind of bag we don't make now. We make diaper bags, we make gift bags, we make different types of souvenirs. The growth process has been amazing. It's something that happens, that you start something and obviously other things that complement it comes up. We started from my front porch, literally from the frontage of my house, to get in the first room, to get in the second room, and we have a storage now, and we're just spilling over, obviously. So yeah, we've grown over the years. We've made thousands of bags, a couple of thousands of bags, and we have probably over 30 different shapes of bags and a couple of other items, souvenirs. We're going into interior decoration as well. We're doing throw pillows and table corsets for the house. So yeah, we've grown. I can't tell you everything we've made. Not all the designs we've made have actually been sustained. Some of them we've made and they've not sold, and we've moved to other things. But yeah, it's been an amazing ride.
In the past 3 years, Magnesia Collections has been designing and producing a variety of bags, and she shares her inspiration.
My designs normally come from my fabric. There's certain bags I make because I work with different kind of fabrics. I work with leather, I work with Ankara, I work with lace, I work with silk. So I can decide that I want to make a clutch, and I won't want to necessarily make it with the leather. I want to make it with the lace. That way I can get various colors, and these are things that are not very common. So my designs are actually bettered by things I see every day in life as well. Things that people ask me. Some of my designs actually come from requests from my customers as well, because every day you go out, you make a new design and somebody says something and you just grab onto it and you try to interpret it in the way you understand, and it betters the design. People have weddings, ashwebi, they give us part of the ashwebi, we make fabrics for them. Brides are getting married, they bring part of what they're going to wear or go out and buy the color exactly of the bag and shoe they want, and they give it to us and we'll make a bag for them. So you don't just have to be tied down to buying what we have. We can make a bag for you with anything you give us. Once it's a workable fabric.
She is also in the vanguard of promoting the Made in Nigeria culture, as she emphasizes that all her materials are sourced locally.
I source my materials from people who import bag making accessories and tools in Lagos, in Aba, and in Kano. Our leather, some of our real genuine leather, which are actually made in Kano, we import from Kano. Some of the synthetic leather we use for the bags, for the lining of the bags, we source from Lagos and Aba. Our accessories as well, we source them from Lagos and from some of importers we know that actually import them into the country and make some of them in Aba. So yeah, our things are basically sourced in Nigeria. You'll be amazed what you can find here, and their quality, and the last, which my customers can testify to.
And it would seem that people are beginning to embrace the Nigerian brand, as she acknowledges that patronage has been quite encouraging.
Bags made with Ankara fabrics is something that's been up or had newly introduced into the country, say in the last 4 to 5 years. So the patronage has been very good. We have patronage from obviously ladies. We have husbands buying for their wives, and we have obviously a good number of people in the international community as well. We now have a distributor in the UK who actually sells for us. So patronage has been good. Obviously we're still in business, so you could say.
Are there any people that may have influenced you in this journey?
One of my biggest role models, or the person who I would say that put the creative gene inside of me, is my mom. I grew up with a mom who did a lot of things with her hands, be it even cooking, be it the baking, but things like she did the crochet, she did the headpieces. She made us, like when we were growing up, I was like we were forced to do some of those things, but yeah, some of them stayed with me. So my mom is a big part of what I do. And when I wasn't doing anything, when I didn't have a job, when you're idle, you look for what to do. I went into this fashion house and started learning how to sew. Little did I know my learning to sew was going to take me into bag making or help me to use the machine. But now I'm a bag maker and everything has to actually be sewn. I have other people who are bag makers I look up to. One of the biggest ones is a woman in the UK called Nneamaka. She's a top bag maker and I look up to her, and these are people I aspire to actually do a bit of what they've done in the bag making industry.
As with every human endeavor, Magnesia Collections also has its fair share of challenges.
One of my biggest challenges, I would say, is finding skilled workers, staffing. None of my staff comes here with the pre-knowledge of how to make a bag. I have to train every single one that comes in. I'm lucky I have about 2 or 3 of them who have stayed with me over the years, so they actually help me in the training. But then you find that our staff retention goes up and down because some of them don't actually have the patience to stay to learn till the end. They want to go. Some of them come and learn after a few months. They want to go and start their own businesses and go. But I would say I'm lucky because I started the business myself. I know every aspect of the business. So even when they leave, I'm able to continue because it's my idea. Obviously, I have different machineries that I have to run with power. I have about 4 to 5 industrial machines. I have my heat transfer machine that I use for my stones, and all this require power. It's added cost when I have to run my generator like sometimes the whole day because there's no light to actually run the business. Another thing is actually the cost. Sometimes you have to sell the bags below what we will sell them. Say if we were selling these bags outside the country, or if we had like a standard, how much we have to sell the bags. Things that are made by hand are supposed to cost much because of the time you put in there. We're not just making by hand, we're cutting by hand, as opposed to big factories that make the shoes you see in the markets that are sold for X amount of money, which are cut like with proper big industrial machines. Every single thing I do here is hand cut by my people. We've bought some cutting machines, but we find that we don't actually get the size and shape that we want from a cutting machine. So we end up relying to cut them with blades and scissors. So it's a lot of work that goes into it, but at the end of the day, we're in Nigeria, and if you want to sell, because we know the population and the buying capacity of the people who we sell to, we have to sell it at a particular cost price so that people can buy. The machines I'm talking about are real big capacity machines and very expensive. With the money I make now, I probably won't be able to afford that, but with time, yes. We can't maneuver the other cutters that I'm talking about, because the bags that we make, there are some parts of it that you still have to hand cut, except you build the die cutting form for it, and these are what big machines can do. So right now we still rely on cutting those small edges and those corners by hand. Then also trying to organize the business. Having not come from a business background, it's not been easy, but yeah, I try my best. I've employed like an admin person who helps me in the daily running of the business, and I'm every day, through mistakes and experiences, I learn on how to improve myself and how to improve my business.
Do more of the documentation and the supervising vision of the staff. The taking of orders, checking online for orders, and replying the customers, sending them payment requests, telling them when their order will be ready for shipping or for delivery. For those that are international, we ship to them. Then for those that are within Abuja, we deliver to them either the pickup from the shop or the pickup with us. I'm really learning a lot here, and this place has really taught me a lot of business, kind of how to run a business, because usually all my life I've been an office person. So, but since I started working here, dealing with customers, knowing what they feel, how they react to things, it's kind of getting me ready to have my own business too.
Running a business can be quite daunting, but Nneamaka Nwosisib was lucky to be a beneficiary of the Youth Enterprise with Innovation in Nigeria (YOUWIN) program, the federal government's drive to create more jobs for Nigerians.
My business, I started with some money I got from my husband, thanks to him, and then a little part of my salary, the last salary I was paid in my last employment, some of my savings, I put it together, and that was how I started. I started really small, and this business being a profitable business because I didn't go overblown with it. I did very small, and I was turning over. Everything I turned over, I put in. That was actually how I started, and the business, I would say, has grown because we make profit. As we make profit, we reinvest, and we're growing. So that's how we've managed all through the years. Up until late last year, I got a grant from the YOUWIN, federal government grants, where people are giving some money to actually inject in their business, and which helps them to hire people and buy things that help, buy machinery and things they need to grow the business. The YOUWIN grant has been a blessing. It's helped me to take on more staff. It's helped me to buy better machinery that helps me produce more quality bags. And yeah, well, I look forward to obviously using the funds and the turnover I get to improve my business.
Her business has continued to grow in leaps and bounds as she also diversified into shoemaking.
We're making things with Ankara. Once you're making bags, the next accessory that comes with it is a shoe or slippers. We started with slippers. I had this my shoemaker that I work with. He's very good, and he came, like I told you as well, the person that trained me to make bags, or I learned from, is a shoemaker actually, so I saw the intrigues of how to tear up a shoe or how to make one from scratch. So I taught him and showed him what I wanted to do. Our slippers, our shoes, our gladiators are all made. The top are all Ankara, and then the sole is like the proper sole that you use for shoes, and they last and people love them. So we have the request for it and we started making them. Everything is made from scratch. From the fabric is in pieces, and from the leather you put inside the shoes, the foams, everything is in pieces. We knock them together and we join them together. Nothing is actually bought and covered. Everything is made from scratch, and you'll be amazed how many people can make shoes in Nigeria. A lot of shoes are made in the northern part of Nigeria. Most shoemakers can make a fresh shoe once they have the leather to do it. Yeah, so everything is actually handmade and hand finished.
A passionate entrepreneur indeed, Nneamaka has great aspirations for the future.
I want our leather line of production to start working fully, and I hope before the end of the year we would have gotten it to a steady pace where we're able to compete with what is out there in the market. Making not just bags that are infused with leather, but full bags made with leather, and not just probably working with synthetic leather, working with real raw leather that are made from the northern part of Nigeria. Also, we plan to source, and we're sourcing actually already more distributors in the international community. We have some people in London that are stocking our bags, and we're hoping to expand over the summer. We're hoping to go into the European market and the American market as well, because right now we're getting a lot of orders from people in the international community. We're actually hoping to expand our distributor base here in Nigeria. We have 2 stores that stock our items in Lagos. We have one in Nwosisib in Abuja and another one at the Silverbird. We use outlet stores, so we hope to sign up more people who are able to distribute our products. So we have a variety of channels where we're able to spread what we produce across Nigeria, obviously, and the international community. I hope in the future my business hires more people. I hope my business doesn't just come and go, that it's sustainable. So obviously, depending on what we're able to do and how we're able to get our products out there, then I see the business obviously going on in maybe many more years to come.
There are quite a couple of variety of bags that I see here. So who are your target customers really?
Well, our target customers are ladies. We also have children. We make tiny mini sack bags for kids, which they love. We also target men as well. Don't forget they have the buying power to buy the things for their wives. But yeah, we're beginning to make also man bags. They call them man bags. We're making briefcases. We're making men's slippers as well.
Social work and bag making may be considered 2 extremes, but she has an admirable way of unifying them.
Some of my employees are not well trained, or they've not gone to university, so chances of them getting a job that pays them up to the amount of money I pay them, it's very low. But creating something that gives them the satisfaction and actually helps them acquire a skill that most of them actually go ahead, live here and start up their own businesses is I believe having a civil duty or something I'm doing for my country and my society.
She helped me in so many ways. So I like working with her very well because she's very cooperative in any assistance. If you need assistance from her, she will help you and she advises us. So I can produce my own type, yes, and I can design any type of bag.
We like the business, we do everything good, everything is going smoothly. I can start from the starting, cut material, cut fiber, pasting, fish pin, and a couple, and I do everything. I let it here. By the time we free from here, maybe I can set up on my own. Maybe other people can still net from me. I can teach other people so that the thing will spread everywhere.
Some other thing we do is trainings. We run trainings for young people who want to start up their own businesses. My shoemaker is currently training a young man who's going to be starting his own business very soon. But we've trained young ladies to make accessories and bags. When we actually have so much others that we can take on, like accessories, we make earrings and jewelries and books. We actually call those people who've trained and we give them jobs to actually produce this item. So it's a big achievement that we're actually empowering other people, not just doing this as a business for ourselves, but we're able to start up other small businesses, no matter how small they are. These people are able to make something out for themselves and feed from that.
And she offers some encouragement to budding entrepreneurs.
If you have a passion for something, go for it. Don't be too money conscious, because obviously the money doesn't just come immediately. Try to plan yourself. If you can write out a business plan, which helps, so you can follow a steady concession of what your business plan says to growing, you can do that. And then obviously look out for avenues, network, market, and find people who can mentor you, people who've been in the businesses, so you learn from their experiences. And obviously don't get thrown down when something doesn't go right. A lot of things haven't gone right in my business, but because of a passion I have for it, I've actually persevered and obviously come out a better person and a better businesswoman.